I'm Vinu Keller. Welcome to Vinu Inspires. It's time to give your children a childhood they won't have to heal from. When you're having conversations with your kids, do you ever hear that, call it the attitude in their voice? You know, you think you're just having a casual conversation and all of a sudden that little, like, oh, what's that in their voice? I'm Vinu Keller. I'm known as a parent-child whisperer. Today, I want to help you help your child to decrease the tonality in their voice. And there's a couple ways that you can do it. But the first way that I want to talk about is how could we come across more curious than critical? When we actually hear our child's voice with that, I'm just going to call it the attitude voice, that tone, it means that they have something that they need to defend. Our tonality is a reflection of what we're feeling in that moment. Like, think about a time when you're talking to someone and you're irritated. Is your voice like, yeah, I'm just really irritated right now because, this happened and that happened and you promised this? No, we have that tonality that shows frustration in our voice that, hey, you promised this and this is what I got, and that's not what I asked for. So when we ask our kids questions, now some kids are just like, oh, mom, you asked so many questions. Do you get that? Because I get that. And yet I still ask questions because I rather my kid know that I'm curious than me saying something where they feel the need to defend themselves. And I'm going to be honest, there's times that I botch this up. In my mind, I'm being very curious, but to them, I'm being critical. And how do I know that? It's because the tonality. It's the tonality I get from my children back at me. And I reflect on that. And I'm like, oh, that did not feel good. And so then I come back and I say, I'm just curious. What would it look like if these clothes were hung up, these shoes were put away? I could actually see your dresser. What would that look like? What would that mean to you? And my son or daughter might say, well, it means that it would be clean. I'm like, isn't that amazing? So if that's what clean looks like, and then you can get back the TV or back to playing with your friends, whatever the distraction is from them not doing what I've asked them to do, all of a sudden it's like things get done and I don't have the attitude. Let's talk about grades for a moment. And I know I've talked about this before on my channel, but I think it's important. School's getting ready to end. Kids are doing finals. We're buttoning up the end of the school year. And grades are going to be a big thing. Instead of looking at the grades like, I can't believe you did this, be curious about it. Like, I'm just curious about this. See, does it feel good to you? Do you feel you could have done better? And create that dialogue, because that's really what we want. When we want our kids to be able to open up to us and tell us stuff, we have to give them a safe and trusting space. What would that look like to them? How could they feel safe that I'm not going to judge them? Because I'm going to be honest, my kids still think I judge them. And in my opinion, I don't judge them. I'm here to give them that guidance. So I'm also reflecting to you the things that I work on, because we're all a work in progress, is how could I be more curious so my children can hear me and let me guide them? See, we cannot influence our children if we are judging them. And even though, again, we don't feel like we're judging them, if they feel judged, they will not allow us to influence them, to guide them in a different way. So with their grades, what does that look like to you? How does that feel like to you? Are you happy with it? Because you might just find out that they were struggling and they didn't want to tell you because they think that they got it. And then their grades obviously showed you that they didn't get it. So to prevent that further the next school year, it's create that safe dialogue for them today, now. And the best way we can do that is to be curious and not critical. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.